Hey everybody, Brad Linder at you again for my daily sketch card. This is a big one. Gonna be doing Doctor Strange. This is my 100th card. Can you believe that? Been doing this crazy stuff for a while now, and gonna be opening a page. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm gonna be opening a page. I'm loading my pencil as I'm talking here. I'm gonna be loading a page for you guys to these things and check out all the previous videos that I did, as well as the new ones will be posted there, so that we can get um, the request of going public here out of the way. I've been asked by a lot of people to do this, and I appreciate all the fan support, especially with my books going monthly next month. My sporadic publication at Firestorm has been slow, and primarily due to staffing issues and getting the right team together and getting the right, just the right flow to it. I am doing Catman Evolution. This is not a promotional plug at all. I'm not selling anything here. I'm just talking as always. So don't get spooked. He's talking about books. He wants to buy something. No, not at all. Not yet, anyway. What I've got going on with the comic book stuff, though, is that Catman Evolution's been running a little slow. Then Lone Rider's been coming along really slow, as well as this new webcomic product that I've got. I've got to get that out on the market. You guys will be able to access it daily for free, and then eventually it will go into syndicated print and lock it up and move it on from there. But yeah, this is just going to continue to be my daily card, hanging out with you guys, talking shop, and just showing and sharing the love, man. No biggie. I opened the new page. It's in the link of the video. You guys can go on and check it out. I hope you like it. I'm going to be posting, there's not much on there right now except for the opening trailer video, which I put up on the cover, and where I changed my profile picture a couple times to add a couple of things on there. But the meat and potatoes is coming tonight, so you guys don't think it's going to be an empty dead page, because this video will be up there as soon as it's done. And then I'm going to link over all the private videos as well over the next couple of days. I'm going to do a couple at a time so Facebook doesn't lock me up for overstacking, the page and whatnot, because they've already locked out my invites twice today. So I don't want to get kicked off Facebook for that. So I'll be posting those every couple of days. I'll post a few videos for you guys to check out and get access to the old stuff from the last 100 days. I say old stuff, but it's 90 days old. I mean, it's just the last 100 days or so. And I want you guys to be able to get those videos where you can't otherwise, because they were privately marked. I won't be putting those publicly on my profile until I share them, just so that they don't go all over the place and Facebook starts, like I said, complaining and griping and whatnot, because they've already spanked me twice today and told me, stop that, you're oversharing. But that's what I do, man. Over deliver. That's the way it goes. Anyway, while we're hanging out here, Doctor Strange is one of my favorite characters. I got hooked on this guy at a flea market, believe it or not. I was in Texas at the time, and I was going to what they call First Monday, which is their monthly flea market swap meet weekend. And a lot of states have that, but this particular time, it's just something we get as a pastime down there. And this particular weekend, I had gone on my birthday, on the week of my birthday, and it was still cold out. And I came across this table where this man was closing up, and I don't know, I had a couple $100 on me. I had just gotten paid, and like I said, had my birthday money on top of it, so I was just like, packing it away, just ready and raring to go. And I came across this old man that was out there, and he was never there before, never, and I mean never there before. And we went over to the table to check him out, and he had some old comic books. And it turned out that his son had passed away. His son was in his 50s and had passed away and had no children. And this man was selling his son's comic books to guarantee that they were going to go to a good home, or at least into a good collection through the swap meets. And I got, I don't know, 3,000 comics for maybe $500. And I mean, they're old comics, they're the good stuff, the Silver Age and early modern age stuff. So, that's where I got introduced to Doctor Strange, and a bunch of those old books were in there. And I tell you what, I cleaned up. I just had a blast with it, and fell in love with this guy. And it was the old Steve Ditko stuff. And I tell you, it just blew my mind. I was hooked into the colors of the 60s, and all the bright, solid monotone colors, and the supernatural stuff. I had never seen that in a comic book before. I mean, I'd seen superheroes just like everybody else, but I had never seen that particular character or genre before in that way, where it was mysticism. It was always the classic EC horror stuff, or, the classic creepy tales type stuff. And I didn't get that opportunity to see that when I was younger. So I really, really just latched into this and got hooked on Doctor Strange. And this particular collector, his son was really big into the Silver Surfer as well. And that's where I hooked onto the Silver Surfer. And I was just blown away by it, that there was a mystic side to Marvel. That's where I discovered that. And there were some great reads in there, man. I mean, just some phenomenal stuff. The first one I got hooked into is an issue. I don't remember what number it is. I've got it in my stash, of course. But it was where Doctor Strange got teleported through time. And it was basically his version of It's a Wonderful Life. That was the thing. A demon had thrown him through time and locked him into an alternate reality where he didn't exist. So that was the storyline, and it was great. It was just, I think it was like 18 pages, and it was just pure bliss. So I know a lot of the older guys will be up there going, what book was that? You got to find the issue. Now they'll all be swarming for their records to find out what issue it was. They'll be pulling on the wiki files and finding out. I'm not sure exactly what issue it was. But that was the first experience I had with Doctor Strange. I love this character. I draw him all the time in various forms, just to see what I can do with him, in comparison to a lot of what other people do, as well as my own style growth. So I have a blast with this guy right here. Now I'm cutting the magic rings right across the lines. I'm not even messing with that. They're transparent. When I work with them, they're transparent in the Doctor Strange stuff that I draw, so I'm putting them flat out transparent. That's the way we're going today. So then I'll shade in that goatee in just a second. I just want to get these in first so I don't leave them out, or so I black out anything major that they need. Thanks, D. I appreciate it, man. Getting compliments, digging that. Like I said, as long as you guys like these and keep seeing them and keep showing up, I'll keep doing them. Sunday's my worst day. Nobody shows up, but that's family time, so I completely understand that. I mean, it's not like I'm asking people to show up tooth and nail. You don't have to show up religiously just because of the fact that I do. It's when you're here, if you like it, that's cool. As long as everybody keeps showing up eventually and participating, I'm good to go. Because that's why I do this. I mean, I want to entertain people. That's it's not just for me, which a big part of it is. I'm not going to lie about that. But obviously, it's going to be all about what you guys dig too. I mean, that's the whole point. But with these weird industry things going on right now, everybody's kind of spooked with the whole Marvel, the whole DC dump of Marvel. Don't take that crap personally. I'm not going to go on a rant like I did the last couple of days. I mean, that's just, I got a little serious with it and I stuck with it, and I don't want to do that because I didn't go out to do that. But it's a hot topic right now. But what I'm going to say is, to everybody that's freaking out about that whole Marvel deal right now, that whole Disney thing, Disney absorbs IP properties. That's their thing, okay? They're going to do that. I'm not knocking them. That's the business they're in. I know that's the business they're in. Because they're not in the property development business for entertainment. They are in the tourism business for entertainment. They build up tourism attractions and they buy IPs to build up money for movies and merchandise to turn into big attractions for their tourism sites. And that's exactly what that is. That's what Walt Disney always did. He was a real estate man, bottom line. He bought swampland and converted it. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's what was the real life business of Disney? Well, the dude loved entertainment and he loved kids and animation, but he did it to make money. That's the harsh reality of it, is because of the fact that that's what he did. He bought swampland. He knew he was going to develop it. He spent 50 years and developed it. And that's what we're seeing the legacy of right now. And unfortunately, the Disney Corporation got Marvel because they were desperate and needed to sell out. And when they made that acquisition, which they've been trying to since 1990, was when the first hostile bid took effect. But anyway, they've been trying to do that for a while, so they finally got them. And from 2005 to 2012, they just liquidated everything they had. They got Jim Henson Productions as well. And, they got the Muppets and all those properties, and they're gone too. It is what it is. But they'll be there in spirit. They'll be there in movies. They'll be there in backpacks and toys and whatever. I mean, that's their business. That's what they do. But DC's still out there. Image is still out there. So don't sweat it. Comics are evolving. They're not dying. They're evolving. So if you want to know the details of the business, the industry, and find out more about what's out there in what I said, you can check out other videos when I post them on the page here pretty quick. So, and if you're in my timeline, you can check it from my timeline if you want to over the last couple of days and see what's out there. But that's up to you. As far as this goes, though, this dude is coming off quick. I draw this guy very fast because of the fact that he is so clean in comparison to most of the other characters. He has such a cool, clean line. It is so easy to draw this guy. We're going to cut his eyes in from the top. And then I'll start detailing out that hair. Okay. So now we've got the goatee coming in. I always like to put this little white shift right here. in Doctor Strange. I just always have. I really dig this right here. Sometimes I do it in a light brown, but for the most part, I'm going to do it as a white in this case. I'm not going to shade this too harsh because I'm going to erase this because this won't be blacked out. It will not be inked because I'm going to do the power rings, of course. So this will all be transparent when I color it. But I like to give him these little white finishes now and again, like out on this edge over here, because he's getting a little more mature, and I just like to give it that edge and make it pop out a little bit more. Now his eyebrows are just a highlight. That's going to be blue or brown, depending on how I decide to color it and fill it in. If you hear me crunching, I'm crunching on hard candy for my allergies in my throat so that my voice doesn't wear out while I'm talking to you wonderful people. You're welcome. So, in this incarnation, I've given him this great, soft, curly hair, or wavy hair, actually. So that we can see all that. Sorry, I'm checking to make sure I'm still on camera so you guys can see me. I want to make sure this goes off without a hitch. Let's see here. Now we got to draw in those other rings too, which are down here. I always dig this right here because he's got this white spoof of hair right in front. Now, he and Reed Richards always have these sideburn things going on, you know, the white sideburns. And I leave that like that. But I like to get this new thing that he's got going on, which is the last couple of years mainly. I didn't see it in the older comics. If I stand mistaken, you guys let me know. I would love to check that out and verify it. Because I'm not arguing the point. I'm just saying that if I missed it, I missed it. I would love to be up on that. But the modern thing is right now, this little tuft right here is going more and more gray or silver, depending on who draws him. With me, it's definitely going silver. I like doing that. It gives him a little more finesse and a little more maturity. It gives him a little more polished sophistication. This dude is very smart, and he's not exactly a spring chicken, you know. He's not old, per se. He's supposed to be in his 40s. But Stephen Strange has been around for a long time, and people just don't pay him the respect that they should, you know, as a character. I just really dig this guy. And, you know, he's Marvel's mystic version of, let's just say he's, I don't want to say he's Marvel's Harry Potter because he came out first, obviously. But I think that this had a huge impact on the American following of Harry Potter. Because we have characters like Doctor Strange out there and have had them for decades. And then when someone like J.K. Rowling comes along and has a fresh, new, clean perspective, that's why these things pop. If you're a True Blood fan, you know, those books came out and took the world by storm. And that's because of the fact that we had things like Anne Rice prior, you know, Interview with a Vampire, and good, solid, mature writing, which hasn't been done a lot. You know, most of them are just like really down creepy or they're the typical Dracula knockoffs. And, you know, those series are taking a big jump. I mean, I know they're over now, but still, there's a new series that is by that same writer, which her name skips my mind off right off the bat. She's got a new series out right now that looks pretty decent too. It just started a couple of weeks ago. Now, granted, this isn't polished as a comic book would be, of course, but I talk about that all the time. But I know this isn't as polished as a comic book would be, but this is a sketch card, so you got to give a little lenience to it and a little forgiveness and understand that things are going to be tweaked on. And that's what I do with these. I practice with them every day and try different techniques a lot. So let's pop in those eyes real quick, and then I'll draw in all the cool stuff, all the details. Put a little heavy line on here to show that he's looking out of the top of his eyes, really aggressive like. And this is something I do all the time, is constantly work on the eyes to upgrade them so that they can look more realistic. Not as realistic as semi-realism, because I don't do that kind of work. I love the guys that do, but David Finch is one of my all-time favorite artists because of the fact that he can do surrealism and I can't. He does photorealism really well and surrealism styles, and gets just on a totally different level than most people. So that's one of my favorite artists, and like I said, I just don't draw that way. I wish I did sometimes, but if I did, then I would be a David Finch knockoff, and I wouldn't be having you guys follow me around telling me to get my books out there and getting off my butt with it, because then I'd just be another clone. And I gotta curl that in just a little bit because that's the side of the finger. I've got the pinky off to the end here, like Spider-Man style, sticking out, and I want to make sure that that hand reflects that and doesn't look like another finger sticking out there. There we go. There's proof of it right there. I don't do photorealism. Okay. Now, I'm going to draw in these details for this this set of power rings here. Like this one back here is the triangles that cross over. And this one right in here has the triangles as well. I'm trying to keep this as light as possible because I want to make these detailed later when I color it. Whoop, hit a bump in the card. Have you ever done that? Have you ever hit a bump in the card to where it's like it's almost like hitting a knot in a tree, a knot in a log when you cut it down, just making various patterns and shapes just like they always do. Make it look like symbolism or some foreign ancient language kind of thing, when in reality all it is little scribble marks. Jack Kirby said it best, you scribble it like the gibberish it is what he used to tell people. And he's right, because it looks good. It comes right out, pops off, and says, boom, I'm here. There's a design. Now in here, I'm going to leave this open for the energy glow kind of thing. And then what I'm going to put on this outside ring is I'm going to put a couple little marks here and there along the way to show the outside barrier, like in the films, where everything kind of comes off and pops out. I know you can't see that because of the gray in the goatee or the pencil in the goatee. But I'm just kind of making some marks around this trail here because this one's down front. And then we have this hand right behind, which goes in right in here. And I'm going to put the symbols right here in this one, making sure I put it in the right spot. Going to go across this hand here. See, that's all that is. It's just a pattern. Now I've got to come back in here. And don't do this if you're drawing professionally. Please don't do this. I know I'm doing this on a sketch card, but I can get away with it because of that. Use the tools. Don't draw freehand circles and stuff because it'll warp it. Because if you can look at this, if you can lay this out flat, you can see it. It's got ripples and warps and stuff in it. I'll have to clean those up. But it is what it is. So I'm going to wrap out this cape here with a drop shadow behind old Steven's head, as it were. Okay. I'm not going to go all Spawn crazy with this thing, but on the trim here, we can't see any of the amulet or anything like that because it's down behind his hands. And what I'm going to do is go in here on this, because these are the gold edges of the robe, of the shroud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this cool little back and forth scribble pattern like this on there as well, because that's always decorative. And then that's going to be the edge. And again, there's the edge right there. So we've got the decorative stuff coming down this way. For it to show up. Okay. Now we've got that going on. Got the magic rings up here. Got his hands down front so I can shadow those. Going to put in that other thumb knuckle right there. And there's the bottom of his glove right here. So now we can get some shading in here and make this pop off a little more. Now that's one effect that the new magic rings from the film have inspired people to have, and I really dig that effect, is because they're down on his wrist like guards to control his hands. Because the magic controls his hands like that, it's not up on his hands anymore. Because it used to be right up in his hands in the comics, and now it's not. Because of the movie, it's down on his wrist to support him, which I've always found that awesome as a new approach, because of the fact that it makes more sense. It's like the spinnerets of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man being in his hands as a mutation rather than web shooters, which I find that just genius. I always have. But then with Steven, you get that whole lockout method going on the back of his wrist like that, which puts the ability to detail his hands where the energy is back in the power of the artist, back into the control of the artist. And I really, really dig that, because I'm able to do a lot with this where I wouldn't otherwise, because of the glow of the power and whatnot. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I can put in, that sheen, except for right here where his, the energy ring's going to cross over that hand. So now I get to put in those details and liven that up a little bit. Just enough to make it pop off. Not going crazy with it, but enough to make it noticeable. So again, that's the back ridge of that hand. So I want to put in something different there to show that it's that hand. and not that finger. There we go. Okay. I'm going to detail out the end of this finger here. Get a little glove action going. And with that one said, I think we're going to call it a day. That is number 100. That is Doctor Strange. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I appreciate it. Please like the page and hang out if you can, so that you can check out the other videos that I'm about to release, as well as my new how-to series that's coming out. It'll be free. You can grab it. It'll be on the page. I'm going to be discussing some great stuff on how-to with comic books and my approach of handling those issues. I help a lot of students that way. I'm really, really cool with it. Talking shop and whatnot and hanging out, because I want to help you guys make the comic community just as strong as, you know, the big two that everybody keeps saying is where it's all at. You know, I want to make sure that independent comics come out and we build up the industry, because we need to. Not because we can, but because we should. So keep that going and draw every day, because if you don't draw today, are you an artist? By definition, you're not. So think about that one. Anyway, take care. What do I have coming up tomorrow? I have the Scarlet Witch 101. Card 101 is going to be the Scarlet Witch. Then after that, I have the classic Quicksilver right behind that. And for the weekend, I'm going to save you guys a couple of surprises. So I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.